this is Crimson Blades, and today we're going to be checking out Warhammer 40k Mechanicus. This is a game that's been promoted through Steam, really, through a sale that's ongoing, and hopefully, if this video goes up on time, it's still available for a pretty discounted price. This game came out a couple of years ago. It's described as a 40k setting XCOM style of gameplay, a squad-based game where you can specialize your characters. And it looks like a very cool game, very interesting graphics, very interesting gameplay style. And I've only scratched the surface a little bit just to get familiar with it, and I'll walk you through how the game goes. It's quite heavily discounted, like I mentioned earlier. It's only $6, I believe, on Steam, when typically it's upwards of $30 to $40. So definitely check it out. I believe the sale ends on June 1st. So let's just pull up a new game. I'm gonna skip the tutorial so I can just get right into the gameplay here. So let me tell you a little bit about how the layout of the game works. Essentially, you have these what are they called? Tech masters, I believe they're called, and you have these characters that you're controlling, and they have a certain amount of these top right black stones, which are currency used to upgrade them. So these are essentially your main characters, your heroes that are running around, and you have these little servants or servitors, they call it, which are smaller units that's a bit of a mix of cannon fodder and people who can run around the field and do some little extra damage for you. So when you start off, the tutorial is quite in-depth and they walk you through everything, but I'll just kind of start the game up and show it to you, show you how a game runs. Essentially, when you finish your tutorial, you end up on this screen where you have your hero. You can use, it says here next upgrade 120 blackstones. You use those blackstones to upgrade your character. So in this case, these classes may have unique names, but they are variations of classes you might get in other RPGs. As you're playing, you'll familiarize yourself with what these mean. Right now, just to give you a sense, I'm going to upgrade them into fairly basic classes, let's say. So for example, the Tex Auxilium, buffing people's shields, kind of firing with reduced cost, etc. So I'm going to upgrade one of them to this. It tells you how much you're going to spend, how much you're left over. Right? And when you're level 1, you can only equip one item like this, but I just upgraded him so I can equip an extra item. Otherwise, this second item would not be available. And this is how your character would look like. You basically have a melee weapon, a ranged weapon. They all have cooldowns that are mentioned in some settings. So like the servo skull there, it says cooldown 2. I'll walk you into depths on some of these a little bit later. So let's actually upgrade the other character too. Let's make him a Dominus. So let's make him a ranged unit here. So he ups his ranged a little bit. Again, the two weapons in, and let me bring you back to the main screen. So the main screen here, you will have the option of sending your troops out either to one location or another location. It tells you what your objective is, it tells you what items you'll receive at the end of it, and this will help guide you because you want certain augments and certain weapons and so on for your character. You'll get to see what kind of enemies you'll be facing for the level. Let's just try this one out, collect Necron samples. You got a healing item here, etc. So let's go with this. And that is basically it. Let's see here. Select your canticles. Not sure what that is yet. So you can select the characters that you're bringing along. So these guys are free, but I'm assuming you're going to get some other servitors or equivalents that cost a little bit more. So let's deploy them and send them out. Okay. Alright. Okay. So when you're brought into the game, it's going to look similar to this. So it almost gives you a sense of where you're going. If it says an exclamation mark, it's sort of an event of sorts to make a decision essentially on what you would do. And this is new to me, these symbols, but I'm assuming that's the Necron samples we're collecting. These two are random events again, and this would advance your story essentially if you see that symbol. So it looks fairly balanced, so let's just go with one side here. Our characters will move in. Alright, so then we reach one of these events. One of the Necron war forms remains after the rest of the fallen constructs teleport away. It fades in and out of reality as if it's about to disappear. Now these decisions do affect things that are to come. It's hard to say exactly what gets affected. Let's extract the Necron. Shame. Was anticipating commencement of dismantling, dissection, experimental dismemberment of captive Xenos construct. Necrons possess failsafe internal teleporters, activate upon destruction. Indeed, I believe we could have concluded that without such a risk to attack priests. Alright, so it looks like that unfortunately got a little bit destroyed, but let's keep moving. The game has a more in-depth story, of course, but I wanted to showcase a little bit of the gameplay. It's quite a rich story from what I'm gathering, a lot of elements there, but that's something, if you want to give it a shot, I think it's something you might enjoy. It's part of what makes 40k interesting, the setting. A single port designed for a Necron canoptech creature extrudes from this device. Not really clear on what each one is, but let's take that one. Stone earned, so we're slowly collecting that to level up our characters again. Let's actually go to this one, considering they're connected. Warning, our presence has been detected. So I presume because we're spending a little bit too long here, it's gonna start getting tougher and tougher. But I wanted to grab another glyph, so let's grab that one. A single pod designed for, okay. 3 HP. So not super helpful in that one. So I could go back, interestingly. Let's go back really quick. Let's see what we have back here. Probably inviting a little bit more threats, but we'll see what that leads to. Okay. Chamber hits suffer damage from shifting of landscape above. Several dozen tiny beetle-shaped constructs scurrying about. Industries repair the damage. Alright, so let's attempt to collect them. Scarabs, not individual contract, but resource the tomb itself. Whole tomb is form of Necron construct. Alright. So we got some cognition points. I'll explain what those are in a little bit. Okay, so let's start moving back now to the quest area. And this is how awake the tomb is. It looks like we're starting to make it more challenging for ourselves. Extra Necrons in battle. Yes, it's getting harder and harder as time goes on if we spend too much time here. Alright. Green cylinders, each pulsing with power. The air is thick and greasy and the arcs of static electricity leap from the cohort's extremities as they approach. This chamber is almost certainly extremely dangerous, but it's the only way forward. Let's study them. Alright, awakening increased by 1. Okay, that's probably not a great idea. In attempting to dismantle one, the cohort is subject to a blast of plasma that burns and irradiates them, following a cascade of exotic particles that teleports them to a different chamber. The rule of questionable decisions to examine these machines closely as they make their way back to the machine path. Alright, so things like that happen, I suppose. Alright, let's get to the main story then and see what happens. Redditus is like a Reddit user, mechanical Reddit user. Xenocitiform detected. Confirmed Redditus cogitators now function for synthetic forms. Alright. So when we start a fight, so this is how the layout's going to look. It's not going to be top down. It's just for placement of characters. We have certain enemies that we can see highlighted here. Not entirely sure what this is, but it has some health on it. The two people we have right now are our lead, our heroes essentially. So you got one there and the other person there. Now, for the cognition points earlier that we mentioned, you could put one of these guys down for one cost each. There are extra units on the field. If they take damage, they actually generate more cognition points. So they're handy to place out. I'll give that a second first. I'll hold off on placing them. I want to show you how these guys work out first, and then I'll place them in the next round. So once you click start battle, the round starts. You see the blue borders here. At a certain point it becomes orange. The blue just takes a normal run. You will take one movement to get there. If you want to extend into the orange section, you will be eating up a cognition point for each time you are adventuring into this orange section. However, if you walk by one of these spots, cognition spots, you actually collect an extra cognition. So cognition allows you to act more and more, essentially. You could use Q and E as well to rotate the map. It sounds like there's a spot here to scan. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to charge this person in here. So of course I spent a cognition to do that. You can see it's denoted there. And I have one cognition left. However, as I'm walking to this location, I can collect 3 cognition from this building. So you can use that to string together some movements. Then I'm going to use this action, fire at him. You can only use range weapons when you're away from enemies, not next to them. I'm going to walk up to them and I'm going to strike them with this. Now you notice power X, it says on the top right of along the line of power X, at the end of it you notice there's a cognition symbol, and you notice it's red on the bar right here. It becomes red when I signal it. It just means that I have to use a cognition to use this ability. I have to spend a cognition. This is another interesting thing, a servo skull. It's used mostly to give you information. So if I click it, reveal stats of this enemy, let's say, it tells me he has 6 health. But I don't know how much health this enemy has. But I'm just going to hit him anyway. Okay. So not a lot of damage there. And I could have used an ability, but I'll hold that off and we'll just end our turn. Okay. Now this person is the one, if you notice the range is 12. So, oops, sorry, my bad. I am going to run around here first, collecting that cognition as I do so. Now let's see, can I hit him from here? Yes, I can. So I'm just gonna fire at him from here. Critical damage, so an extra damage there. Alright, I am, let's see, how much movement? 1, 2, so I can actually do this. So one movement to get there, spends a cognition. Another movement to get here. Again, spend cognition. So left click again to move. And then swing with the last bit of cognition I have. I downed him. So these enemies, one thing you will find out is that they go into this sort of repair mode after they go down. Meaning if I don't deal any extra damage to them after this, they're going to get back up. So I need to hit him by the next turn. So I'm going to end turn here. Oh, actually 3 turns, as you could see there. This enemy tried to move while I had a melee weapon that allowed me to do an opportunity of attack. And when all enemies are down or dead, this happens. You finish the encounter. So it's a pretty simple encounter, but of course this is the first round, essentially the first time you're playing the game, so it's a little bit simpler. Right. Upon destruction, the Necron constructs vanish, leaving no samples to be collected. Alright, let's archive, take some, have a quick look. Mostly illuminating. Alright, we got something here. Cognitive canister. Target a troop. For its next base attack, it gains +1 damage, 25%. Alright, it's a new augment that we discovered, which we can put on our characters as time goes on. Mission complete. head back to base. So we collected some Necron samples, mission is done. And we are heading back. Right, statistics telling us how we did. Right, and things we've unlocked. So, some interesting items here. Augments that let us heal our health. This one, taking up a cognition cost. This is actually without a cognition cost, so it's interesting. You can start healing up your characters, and 2 to 3 health in this game, it's a lot of health technically for a character. Cant of the craft. So we unlocked this that allows us to provide it to our characters before our next mission. Alright. So mission is over. As we are playing the game, these Necrons are slowly going to wake up. So the more dungeons we go to or locations we visit, these guys are going to wake up and they are the enemies in our game. Right now we have some enough to level up our characters again. So if you click on them, you notice next upgrade 134. So let's upgrade them again. Let's see, can we? Oh, this is okay. So he's going down this route again because I believe I can spec into other things as well to make like a mixed hybrid class. But I am gonna go into this character. Let's keep giving him more buffs. So he seems to be more of the melee unit anyway. So let's go with 4 to max HP and physical armor. And then we equip that on him. So you really start to customize your character here. Let's see, am I allowed to equip any of these things? Support. Alright. So there's a few ways to look at this. So I could so right now my character has 3 slots for augments. I could drop one of them. So let's say I do that and apply something like this. So this let's see, what does it do again? Cooldown 3 turns, allows me to heal 2. I think that's fairly solid for my melee upfront character. For my ranged character, so let's click the side here. Let's upgrade him. What's this? Let's see. So he has a slightly different variation of abilities here. Add +1 energy damage. That sounds pretty good. Okay. So he's gonna get oops, sorry, here. +1 energy damage. Why don't we do that? So let's drop this, unplug the melee weapon, and just make him pure ranged. Right? So we'll up his critical hit and his firing rate. Servo skull doesn't look like it takes up, you see this mechanic tool symbols. So that's really it. So that's a mission, and then you are presented with some added options. Clearly there's going to be some interesting upgrades coming up for some of these missions. Sounds like this one is already very tempting. Your gauge normally only goes up to 4, but this one allows you to go up to 5. So I wanted to just use this as a first look video. I wanted you to get a sense of what the game is like, and this is kind of a breakdown of every weapon unlocked, every mission that you can do in terms of unlocking these buffs for future missions. I played a little bit of it, and like I said, I wanted to demonstrate to you there's a lot more to it from what I've seen both in stills and videos. I think it's a really fun game from the get-go, and it's something that you can easily get into if you're a fan of the 40k universe, or if you're a fan of XCOM squad-based gameplay like this. So right now it's still discounted. It's like I said, $6 on Steam. Definitely check it out while the sale is still on. The sale is lasting till 1st of June, so there's not much time left. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give this a go and check out the entire. There's a whole 40k sale going on right now, so check out the entire list in case you're interested in any of these games. Like and subscribe as usual. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.
You can count on my steel.